midweek last week. He lost to Cornell, broke a 20-game unbeaten streak, longest in the country. We're underway. Dimitar Shavdarov is our middle official. In a big weekend here in Durham with College Game Day, Notre Dame against Duke football tomorrow night. But this is a big-time appetizer, and you can feel the energy as you walk around campus, Deb.
Still hard to believe that we're talking about a Duke team that's got 2 losses on the season and 1 in ACC play. That's how good they've been, but it certainly doesn't hurt. Your football team, that's a couple of fans into the environment, and gives you a little bit more motivation as if you needed it.
Deflected and just wide early. Wayne Frederick was not deflected, pardon me, just how it came off his foot. Almost challenged Jason Smith here early in the match.
He's done well for himself, the sophomore. He lost Peter Stroud, finalist for the Mac Herman Award, one of the best soccer players in NCAA last year. It's basically soccer's version of the Heisman. If you're just joining us, he went to New York Red Bull on a homegrown deal, and I actually think he gives you a different look because Nick Periano has jumped up into the midfield. It's tweaked the dimensions centrally for the Duke Blue Devils. So Kenan Hott, you'll see 23 in white. He'll drop a little bit deeper, but Wayne Frederick, two-way box-to-box guy. They used him primarily on the outside last year. Exploded quite nicely from the central location so far in 2023.
Forrester Jago brings it down. We talked about him at the top of the show. Second in the nation in goals with 8. Scoring a goal a game. Kerr forces a turnover. Amir Daly to the aforementioned Hott. Back to Antino Lopez, the junior from Vegas. Off to Periano. This Duke team, tough losses obviously. On the road at Clemson, on the road at their rival North Carolina last weekend. And when it was a pretty wild 2-1 game. Devin, as you watch this early on, what are you assessing between these two teams from a tactical perspective?
Verbally, you could hear a little bit from head coach Ian McIntyre of Syracuse. Press, press, press. How much are they willing to chase this game early on? Usually on the road, they tend to kind of teeter and totter in and out of how much pressure they're bringing up top. That's not the case right now. So is it going to be consistent? John Kerr, the man at the front helm for the Duke Blue Devils, says we've got plan A, plan B, C, D. Just kept going down the list in our meeting with him earlier today and said that regardless of what they're going to bring at us, we've got a reaction to all of it.
Baselli tries the first time shot, deflects out for a corner, which Syracuse is great at generating. 7.88 corners per match, #1 in the nation. Ironically, Duke is second in the same category within the conference at 6.75, so set pieces are big. Syracuse has scored 6 of their 14 goals from dead ball situations this year. Georgia Kucheski to take the corner. In swinging ball, back post, headed down and in! What a start for the visiting team! Nicholas Kalukian, the transfer from Michigan, puts the Orange up 1-0 within minutes. And a stunned silence over this Duke crowd.
This has been a long time coming, though, for Nicholas Kalukian up top, because the transfer from Michigan, he had 4 goals in 16 appearances last year, and he's been put in a lot of really good spots, but has not been able to close them out. Not much easier than that, respectfully. On the backside, Cameron Kerr loses his mark. To be fair, he had the initial, tried to pass, couldn't, had to recover. Kalukian just explodes into the space, uses that quality 6-foot frame of his to tuck this into the bottom corner.
Well, he opened the game at Wake early in that game with a goal, with his first of the season. Great strike from outside the box that put them up, which became eventually a 1-1 draw in Winston-Salem, and now he's put them up within minutes here on the road at Duke. And as you said in the open, can this team from winning positions secure 3 points? They've struggled with that this year.
We said over the lineup for Duke that John Kerr is looking for some consistency for his team, but that's when it comes to relatability to last year's team that was so good. Just seemed like everything they did in every area of the pitch, they were able to find some sort of equilibrium. Syracuse, they haven't struggled in terms of overall performance. It's been these finite moments that have slowly slipped away. So it's Penn State, it's Wake Forest.
That Louisville game, we were there for them. Last minute equalizer at home.
Cornell can throw their name into the hat. They had the lead in that game too. I mean, these are matches where last season They just sort of found a way, and they're finding their way this year, but it's not necessarily part of their DNA. It takes time. Remember, tons of transfers littered within this Syracuse squad.
Yeah, 14 new transfers, 1 new freshman into this group.
8 in the lineup tonight. And again, even when you have transfers in a second year, you're still welcoming the other newbies, right? So we just saw the goal scorer, Nicholas Kalukian. D'Agostini is another one coming over from Oral Roberts. It doesn't matter how much talent you have, you can make a lot of similarities to a freshman coming in because you've experienced college soccer, but not at the ACC level. Yeah. You've experienced college soccer at a high level, but not with wearing a jersey that's got a star above the badge. There are different nuances to it that they're still getting accustomed to.
Frederick able to battle out and win that foot race against Josh Balluz, the transfer from Villanova, and Balluz called for the foul, his 6'6" frame. Ironically, on that corner, if Kaluki didn't get it, I thought Balluz was right there, maybe to tap it in too.
Well, he was certainly celebrating like it was his goal.
Let's just say your boy hesitated for a second. I thought it was, I was like, is that Balluz? He was coming out like he hit it. Lopez looking for the long free kick, trying to find Ruben Masalis, the junior from Florida. Gets a good cross up. He's got a dangerous left foot, but right to the hands of Jason Smith. Yes, another transfer from Utah Valley. Had a great career. Had a really good career there at Utah Valley, and then Park City Red Wolves, USL 2. We did really good this year. Was a part of the best 11 team for that division of soccer in our country. Nice ball played up to Nate Edwards. A couple injury issues the Orange are dealing with. So Edwards starting on the left, not the right. In place of Jonah Leibold, and doing a good job working versus 2, and it rolls out.
It certainly hasn't helped him. The injury bug once again. Pusher Hoberg from last season on the center back role. Good news is he's still involved in the mix training-wise, but they have lost massive pieces into this team overall. I mentioned Nate Edwards onto the left, primarily utilized on the right side.
And there's an Orange player down right now. Play continues on though. It's Gabriel McKenna, center back, as Nick Periano has the ball. McKenna's up now, coming back into your picture, 5. But that's the space that he vacated. Periano almost got into, but Balluz fell in there nicely to recover. They're dealing with some injury issues too in that spot as well. Booster Hobert, we'll see if he can go tonight. Dinked up to Noah Singleman. He himself is working back to full health.
This side of the field to me tonight is everything. Left for Syracuse, right for Duke because of that man right there, Amir Daly, who's just on the ball. They play in a back 3, but he's very aggressive. He'll regularly push the tempo coming off the back line. He's comfortable in possession, but he's got a lot of speed and he wants to be involved. So you play off of him, you play through him and around him. The main problem is going to be is if you can't actually get to Amir Daly. If you're not able to find any sort of access point and he's high, there's a turnover. All of a sudden, Syracuse can step in behind.
It's 2 in white. Ball pinged toward Periano. Frederick does win the second ball and dispossessed. The goal scorer Kalukian lays it off to Kacheski. Giorgio's pass is short. Ooh, man. Bad collisions. Kalukian went down and hit Frederick hard in the lower body. Got 2 bodies down, and Dimitar Shavdarov says play on. I think he may pull it back and stop things now. That's Kalukian, the goal scorer, down and went into Frederick awkwardly. We'll take a look at it.
He's trying to strut through it, and watch the little push on the backside. And that's what gets him.
Oof.
To be fair, the culprit is his teammate, Amir Daly.
Friendly fire.
Yeah, kindly ushers him to the sideline. The problem is Wayne Frederick, who we spoke about in his role in the Duke midfield, standing right in the path.
I mean, that was close because you saw Frederick's leg kind of extend. That was fortunate both guys got up and they're fine. Frederick, the sophomore from Maryland, played every game last year as a freshman, again on a very good Duke team. One of the best defensive teams in the country. Good win by Olu Oyegunle battling with Forrester Ajago. You see Ajago point. Should he be playing that into the channel? What should happen?
He was asking for it. The problem is, though, that was the right ball by Amir Daly because there was so much coverage defensively. If you watch Syracuse, again, it's only happened in the past 30 seconds, which is why we haven't addressed it. Duke hasn't had the ball in that time frame coming that way. They're dropping into a 5, so you drop that deep. It's not just the 3 center backs helping each other. It's the outside wing backs that have come. And if the ball goes over the top, you've got speed, you've got support, and you've got a pathway to lock down Forrester Ajago, which is the most important thing in this game, right? We can talk about everywhere on the field, but the 9 up top is definitely the focal point.
Well done by Antino Lopez there to win the foot race and then have a great touch on the ball as D'Agostini was breathing down his neck. Complaints for a handball, none given. McKenna's back to his feet, trying to win the header, doesn't. Might be through to Ajago. It might be, oh, little contact! Shavdarov says no. Devin Kerr does as well. We'll take a look when that ball goes out of play. It's a veteran defender there, Oyegunle. Cameron Kerr plays it up. It will go out. Let's take a quick look at the penalty appeal. What do you see, Dev?
Well, we just talked about it previously, how you couldn't play it through the first time. We'll notice the separation this time around. The back line is high. You've got the space in behind. That's a big boy tackle. That's a good tackle from Oyegunle on the left side from Syracuse. Perfect timing. Most importantly, he doesn't come from behind. He gets on that shoulder square. If you come in from behind and extend that arm, you're going to get yourself into trouble. But watch him square right back up, assumes proper positioning in front of the striker. That is textbook. You kids at home, you want to play center back? There you go.
Opportunity. Kalukian plays a dangerous ball, then cleared out by Cameron Acito, the reigning ACC Freshman of the Year, on the back stick there. Kalukian can't handle, but it goes off Cameron Kerr. And Ian McIntyre patrolling the sidelines for his 14th season at Syracuse. Done an outstanding job. Won a national championship, obviously, last year, but also won the ACC tournament and the division, the treble, if you will. It's only been done one other time in this conference's history. UNC did it when Carlos Samuano in 2011, his first season under the helm there. Frederick able to corral it. Ping forward, comes off the arm. Bull Jorgensen, first time he's getting the action. Kerr, good service, back stick. Smith read it. Jago was arriving.
What was the #1 scout from Ian McIntyre said? I know it sounds pretty simplistic, but we got to eliminate service. He is very understanding of both Cameron Kerr on the right and Rumo Salas for the Duke Blue Devils, how much quality they bring from the wings. And again, the 9 up top is the most important piece here in Forrester Ajago, eliminating him as a threat because he's going to be the one on the end of that. But right behind it, the width of this field, it controls the tempo, it controls the shape of Syracuse. You win that battle, and you got a real good shot at winning this game.
Lose to Baselli. Baselli on a little bit of space, chance to get his head up. Charging forward. Trying to dink it to D'Agostini. A little too much. There's Julian Eystone, we talked about him before the game. FC Dallas Academy product, was the #1 goalkeeper in the class of 2024, reclassified to 2023. Just 17 years old, he's got a lot of experience with the U.S. youth national team on multiple levels. 6'6" frame.
It's a joke.
Replacing Elliot Hamel. I mean, talk about replacing an absolute stud with a current really good player that could be an absolute stud.
This is the type of player that you dream about as a coach and then also have nightmares because you're not sure how long he's going to be around the program. That's how good he is right now, and also the aspirations of what could be in the future. The biggest question for him as his career goes on, but certainly right now we reference consistency for the Duke Blue Devils. A lot of that consistency came because of the direction being given by Elliot Hamill in goal. He led the ACC in goals against average last season. Your ACC goalkeeper of the year. You lose such a main piece to this component that provided so much success last season. It's very difficult to replace. Now, stylistically, that's fine, but the leadership is everything.
That leadership is huge, as John Kerr told us today. He was marshaling that back line. When you lose that voice, you're relying on a freshman to do it. It's kind of hard, and John Kerr knows quite a bit about being successful here at Duke and elsewhere. 16th season as head coach here. Won in the only national championship for Duke in men's soccer back in '86. He was the National Player of the Year. Had a great career over in Europe, playing in the top division in England, and now has been plying his trade here at his alma mater for 16 years. He's a Hall of Fame member, which we saw today in the board. Let's just real quick, Duke administration. You got to get a picture of Coach Kerr on the digital board.
Like Jeffries. I mean, you're talking about all-time greats. By the way, it's not often we get that opportunity, right?
No doubt about it. Baselli's got an opportunity potentially here. He'll give it a strike, but that is errant. But amazing facilities here at Duke. A chance to see the Hall of Fame and see the digital board there, going through history of so many great athletes across so many great sports here for the Blue Devils.
National champion, Herman Award winner, Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And that's just as a player.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is everybody in ACC land, not even ACC, you talk national landscape for college soccer. You want to play for Duke. That comes with an asterisk of greatness if you're able to achieve it.
Edwards got some space on the left. He is picked out. Nice ball by Kacheski. Maybe Gunlay, his pass pulls Kacheski a bit. Back to Gavin Wigg. Scored his first career goal in their last outing, which became a come-from-behind 3-2 winner, 3-2 victory over Pitt at home last weekend. That was a wild game. Multiple ejections, 5 goals, a lot of talent on the field. Falls to the feet of Kacheski, trying to play Edwards in a foot race with Cameron Kerr. Cameron wins it and just kind of takes it for a walk out of play. Big collision again between Frederick and Kalukia. And Daly gives away the free kick. 5th foul of the match for the Blue Devils.
There's only one.
You see Blues 33 in the far part of your screen there, 6'6" frame. Gabriel McKenna's up there, their center back that has 2 goals in the campaign. And of course Kalukian, who already scored off a dead ball earlier in the match. Whipped in. You'll find the feet of Blues here. He goes down, whip it in there again. Quick restart. Driven in but cleared out. Edwards. Jago on it. Didn't draw the foul. Edwards trying to create. Baselli just wide. Wow. And there was a deflection on the way. Another corner.
Watch how deep Lorenzo Baselli comes on this play. I mean, it's beautiful footwork by the boys up top for Syracuse. Kalukian gets involved with the initial pressure coming off of This is a role that he's more accustomed to because of the position he picked up last year. Played in the midfield 3, so he was usually advancing himself as opposed to coming from a higher line deeper. Good job getting head to goal and having a strike from distance.
Oh, toward the back post, and Eyestone didn't get it in the first time, but second bite of the cherry. That's their second corner. One produced a goal and produced a little bit of a tight moment.
Here we come.
Just a poor touch out of play. I feel like Duke is really struggling to grow into this game.
Yeah, it's overall quality with the ball on the deck. A lot of what you've seen in terms of the advancement going forward, direct balls, usually trying to get in behind, which is totally fine, but you can't be one-dimensional. They're just kind of stuck in that rhythm as we approach the 20-minute mark. A bit predictable. I would say that one of the reasons for that is also the unpredictability by Syracuse on the back line.
Smith's going to get there, and Chicago made it a little bit nerve-wracking.
They've come high, they've been right in your face, they've sat back, and that's really what's gone on for the past 10 minutes and said, come and beat us. So eventually you're going to have to make a decision of, do we want to start to be aggressive and advance more numbers going forward? They haven't chased that yet. Kind of just been nonchalant about their movements. Side to side, we'll take what the game is giving us. That will eventually subside. Fortunately for them, it's just 1-0, as this is some of what I'm talking about. That aggression here, Daly, coming off of that back 3. The more that they get him involved, the more impactful he'll be to this team. It still goes back to the opening comment 5 minutes in. You walk a fine line there. It becomes gambling a little bit because you're saying, okay, we're going to commit more, but we're also going to concede more space. I'm okay with that right now because you haven't really gotten that rhythm going forward.
Jorgensen on the ball, the freshman from Norway. They call him Bull.
Felipe, higher. Felipe, higher. Stay right there.
Cito on it, striding forward from his center back spot.
Felipe, start to slide. Felipe, don't move. Kalukin, higher. Kalukin, higher.
Daly on it.
Midfield. Midfield, start.
Salas. Just cruising forward. Nice slide rule pass. Periano's there. Oh! The second leading goal scorer of the nation just missed a sitter. Oh, Forster Ajago's going to want that one back.
Much better possession spell, though, and this comes from what I talked about earlier. You win the width battle, you can find a way to get into this game. You start centrally. Nick Periano comes from the outside, and watch the diagonal. That's a beautiful run from Nick Periano, the 10 from Duke, coming in, puts this on a platter. You'll rue the day if you're Forster Ajago. What an incredible buildup. An unfortunate miss for the big man up top.
That is tough, to say the least. Chance to equalize this match, and just couldn't get it done. Play to the feet of Ajago. Clip back, and Jorgensen's almost there. A little contact. Penalty! Now, new rules this year within ACC play. The penalty was given, so it can be reviewed. On first look, I thought Smith just grabbed the ball.
Yeah, he looked to get there on time. He didn't maintain possession, but you don't have to. And the one thing you have is from the angle that we're viewing it, Dallin, he leans with his body, which could have gotten him into trouble here. And give the referee the benefit of that at this point in time, because his angle is that same diagonal. He's going to see the body in front of him with Jason Smith coming off the line for Syracuse. As he explodes here, he does a really good job of getting to the space, but it's more so concerning that it's a similar movement that actually breaks them down. I said being predictable in the attack coming forward. I'll tell you, that's a little bit different of a look. And that's difficult shielded. The first look that we saw almost looked like Jason Smith might have actually gotten to the player first. You get a real good look from the review on the sideline right now.
All right, so Dimitar Shavdarov is under the hood, if you will, assessing the potential penalty. It was given. This is part of the new experimental rules within the ACC and 4 other conferences in college soccer this year, where you can review if a penalty is given if it should in fact have been given. You can also review a red card situation as well, as Shavdarov is on it. And there are your rules there. And the last part, of course, denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, a dogzo situation, if you will, where if a player had a chance to score but then is prevented by a foul, if the red is given, if that designation is given, which ends in a red card, that type of red card can be reviewed as well. And Shavdarov comes out. Confirmed penalty. And here we go. Duke is 3 for 3 from the spot on the campaign. Forster Ajago 1 for 1. Nick Periano 2 for 2. And Periano's already got the ball and he's standing on the spot, ready to go.
He's certainly been a nice little spark over the past couple of minutes. Again, you have to find a way to diversify going forward, and that's the reason that the Duke Blue Devils have found themselves not once but twice within the 18 for Syracuse. First ball coming back across, the Ajago miss. He does repay the favor, albeit off a deflection that allows them to get a secondary player in. Jorgensen goes down, and Periano now from 12 yards out to get it back to even.
The senior with a chance to equalize. Back-to-back ACC losses. They need 3 points here. This would be huge. Oh, Smith guessed right, but just slipped under him. And we are back, not at 1, here at Durham.
We go back to the foul. Again, the explosion by Jason Smith, real time, looked like he got there first. Well done by the refereeing crew to go take a look at this. He does in fact make contact. Another good job by the goalkeeper getting off the line. Slight hesitation, comes back, reads it right, but Periano, he's got just enough pace to tuck this home into the bottom corner. Nick Periano, a lot of questions as to what sort of offensive explosion he could provide this year. Just 5 goals collegiately prior to his senior season. Well, he's already got 3 through 9 games.
3 goals now, and he does lead the team in assists with 4, just like he did last year with 8. He was second in the conference in that stat last year, but now adding some more goals to his tally. All right, we'll see how Syracuse responds. Cameron Kerr goes through Kaluki and comes away with the ball. Falls to the feet of Baselli. DeAgostini, Kacheski, and there's Singleman. Clips it in, and Baselli got a head on it, goes out front of the corner. Third of the match for the Orange.
Take the corner kick for Syracuse, number 8, Giorgio Kocheski.
Nick, just be away. Yeah, you're good. Do both. Cam, be ready.
Outswinging ball. Masalis gets there first. Edwards' pass was short. Daly, that cleans him out. They will go play on. There's an opportunity going forward. As Bull is on it, he should have played it out wide to Masalis, and his pass was short. Looking to transition the other way now. I imagine Edwards will go in the book once we have a stoppage. Edwards is on the ball now. He hooks it in. Well done by Lopez. Shavdarov waves off the yellow.
That is
complaints for it.
An interesting decision.
I mean, that's a professional foul I've ever seen it, right?
I needed that when I was growing up. a lot less times I would have ended up
more
in the book
leniency
myself. Exactly.
Well, Edwards, there's been no yellow cards issued in this match yet. I think he earned that one. Well, the Gunlay, his pass was too much, but Kacheski almost controlled it. Got a break at action. We'll tell you about women's sports. They take over here on ACC Network every Sunday afternoon. This week starts at noon Eastern with soccer. Number 16 Duke squares off against number 22 Virginia. Then it's a volleyball doubleheader. Florida State hosts Duke, and then we cap it off with 5th-ranked Louisville, last year's national runner-up, taking on NC State. Kalukian now on the ball. There's your Syracuse goal scorer in the 4th minute. Oh, rolls it. Lopez gets the cross off. Dangerous area. Into the side netting by Singleman. Wow, I thought Baselli was going to be able to put that in. You look shocked.
I can't believe he didn't hit it first time. And number one, why doesn't Singleman cut this ball back? Watch the top of the penalty mark. Well, you cut this ball back to D'Agostini, and all of a sudden it's 2-1, you're off and running.
Help us, Giorgio. Help us, Rice.
Yeah, Singleman, a veteran player, senior from Germany. He's still getting back to full health. Rust is something that's real there. Like, was that just a bad decision, or are you still getting back into game flow here? We'll come back to that in a second. Now joined by Ian McIntyre. Coach, you had the lead. What did you think of the penalty and penalty award against your team?
Oh, you've set me up there. Fantastic decision. This referee got it spot on, guys. What are we going to say to that?
Coach, given the way that the game's gone so far and the personnel out on the field, do you prefer this game to remain wide open, or would you prefer to slow it down in smaller spaces?
I don't. Yeah, look, this is ACC soccer. It's finest. You've got two good teams, kind of, and yeah, it's end to end, and it doesn't look like it's going to finish 1-1.
Coach, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
He's right. Not the best question from your boy here. Sorry, Coach. Thought he was going to go Jose Mourinho on us and just go right in on Shavdarov, but he did not. Very diplomatic answer. But your thoughts? This does not feel like we're going to end at 1-1. I mean,
no. Nor 10 men. The way that it's going, the tackles are flying. I mean, this is what you want a recruit to see. The level, the physicality. This is ACC soccer. End-to-end stuff. There's quality of play. These guys, you're talking about some of the best in the land when they're coming out of high school, and to be groomed by the likes of Ian McIntyre and John Kerr gives you a real good idea why they've got their top 25 ranking, and certainly the star above the crest most recently acquired, by Syracuse in the 2022 season.
Chance now for Perianos. He stands over it along with Masalis to play it in.
Look at the ball. Like, it started over here. There is I can't see the mark, but he marked it, and I'm guessing that he's nowhere near the mark, right? And the other guy's over there. And I can't see the mark.
It'll be Masalis.
You can't see it either.
And Jorgensen called for the fouls. He stepped under. As I said, they call him Bull, his full name. Nikolai Ronaldo Bull Jorgensen. And yes, it's not the Brazilian Ronaldo, it's the Portuguese Ronaldo, Cristiano, named in honor.
I would be surprised, given the way that the game has gone.
Hold on, Jago may have a chance. Tries to play in Bull. Bull gets the shot to flex out, and Smith keeps it from being a corner.
Oh, right on cue, he almost made me eat my words there.
There you go.
Will Jorgensen, obviously the gentleman who applied the tempo up top to earn the penalty. I would be surprised if we didn't see number 9, Ofer Bjornsson.
Back the other way, an opportunity here, but Eyestone is off his line. We saw a similar play in that College of Charleston game where Eyestone was maybe a second late and got called for a penalty there, colliding with the central offensive player. Ball falls to Baselli, no call. He's got Singleman making the run, but Masalis tracks it down. This game seems pretty stretched right now.
What midfield?
Duke's played their third game in 6 days. Difficult to say the least. Syracuse did not have a midweek game.
Well, that's where I was going, by the way, with the Bjornsson comment. He wears the 9 for the Duke Blue Devils. He is the striking partner of that man just in front of you at the center circle for Jago.
Edwards makes that outside to in run and finds a way to get on the ball, and not going to get the call. And does generate a corner, though. Well done by Edwards. 4th of the match. Again, #1 in the nation. 7.88 corners per match. Michael Susky set to check on, your first sub of the game, transfer from BC. Coming off his appearance against Pitt, the most minutes played. He logged 38 minutes, and man, he was effective in helping that team battle back. They'll do a little bit of switching of sides. Susky will play that left side of the field. Edwards will now switch over to the right. In swinger to the back post, bodies down, and foul called.
This is good for him, though, Michael Susky, because the main scout on him at this point in time in his career is he's so used to being on the front line in a 4-3-3, and what that means is you're an attacking player. I mean, let's be honest, your defensive duties are probably not as much as what you're going to experience here as a wingback at Syracuse, but the transfer from Boston College, he was utilized in such an advanced role that he didn't really have to worry as much about what was going on behind him. But that's not the case at Syracuse, because they play you deep, they give you a lot of different looks, but right now, with as wide open as it is, you've got defensive coverage there. This allows them to open up the game transitionally and go more direct.
Oh, Wajago stepped under Wig, and Wig goes down hard, holding his ankle. The senior from Ohio, transfer from Western Michigan, his second year in the program, though. Only played 2 games last year. Has started 7 of the games this year and played in every one. Wig, as he still remains on the deck. No cards yet issued in the match. 9th foul of the game for the Blue Devils. And Shavdarov just gives a talking to Wajago. Agreed?
Well, respect the arms in behind. That is a true professional move by Forster Wajago.
Standing at attention.
I tell you what, here's the most important thing for a player that you have to understand, regardless of what I feel, because yes, it is a card. Regardless of what I feel, here's the most important thing. You're 30 minutes into a match. Maybe the referees let things slide, but he's let them slide consistently.
Yeah.
You know what you can get away with right now, and the leash is pretty long.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
Be pretty physical right now. I mean, Edwards threw a hip check that Ulf Samuelson, testing your hockey knowledge, would be proud of. Nice ball to Daly. He sees a Jago, but read well by Oya Gunland. It's been a fun battle all game. Susky's first touches. Into some trouble. Named Wayne Frederick.
In for 23.
Souvenir.
Yeah, that came in hot.
They got it wrong. We're about 15 rows behind him. Oh, and not the best of throws. Souvenir and a bill.
Olfer Bjornsson checking in the match. And Miguel Ramirez also coming in. Bjornsson, the freshman from Iceland. A lot of Icelandic success they've had. Thor Olfarsson a couple years ago. Axel Gunn Bjornsson is getting back to health. He'll be very impactful for this team, but the freshman coming on with 2 goals in the campaign, as well as Ramirez, the senior from Georgia, making his first appearance, 25 in white. Places Kenan hot.
This allows you to get in behind a bit more with Forster Jago. One of the main issues you dealt with if you were Duke was the absence of a presence of Jorgensen on a consistent basis for his 32-minute shift, we'll call it. Pretty much dormant for the opening 20, and although he did help get to the penalty, not enough play through. All of a sudden, Bjornsson comes in. Watch it, Jago spread a little bit wider and go up over the top more frequently.
And as ball rolls out, we're going to 13 minutes here from Koskinen Stadium at Duke University alongside Devin Kerr. I'm Dallin Cuff. Great game so far here between 2 of the top teams in the conference in the country. Nicholas Kalukian put Syracuse up 1-0, and then Nick Periano equalized from the penalty spot about 25 minutes later. And Jago on an onside position. That's the 2nd leading goal scorer in the nation. Found a ball in a dangerous spot, out for a corner.
Nate, 17, Susky in the front. Hey, we're trying out, boys, trying out. Hey, we're marched up inside.
First corner of the match for the Blue Devils. And Masalis has that wicked left foot. He will take it.
Susky, top of the box.
Back post, Frederick peels off. And Smith lets it go for a corner. Week 5 ACC Network Saturday college football lineup. Great one coming your way. Haynes King and Georgia Tech host Bowling Green at 3:30 Eastern. And at 8 Eastern, the day is capped off by our ACC Network primetime matchup. Virginia Tech hosts Pitt at Lane Stadium. Both these teams looking to break a 3-game losing streak. Big one to say the least there. Big one here tomorrow at Wallace Wade Outdoor Stadium, which is just over about 50 yards from here.
Heard of it.
You've heard of it, yes, and so will the country again tomorrow. First time game day is ever here as Oya Gunley almost gives it up. Duke taking on Notre Dame. Undefeated Duke. Notre Dame coming off that loss to Ohio State. Whole community here right now, a buzz for tonight. We got a good crowd here, and tomorrow night, a huge game.
Think Notre Dame's going to play with a full deck this time?
Having
the game with 11.
Having 11 on the field in critical moments is important.
It's amazing. It actually helps when you've got everybody on the field.
They took a voluntary red card. They took a voluntary red card with the game on the line.
For 45 seconds.
Yeah, they did it two plays. In 2 different games, apparently, this year. They've played with only 10 guys in key spots. Not ideal. We'll see if Marcus Freeman's crew is a little more on top of everything tomorrow. Obviously, Duke beat Clemson to open the season here, and they rushed the field. They win tomorrow. Get ready to storm that thing again. Back to Wig. What do you think about Syracuse's response since the goal?
I would say it's even before the goal, to be honest. The momentum swung the other direction. Yeah, and it was just, one of the comments we heard from Syracuse's head coach Ian McIntyre was about being brave. Duke's been much more of that than they have. They've been aggressive, willing to take chances, and I told you, if you're willing to get out of your comfort zone and chase the game a little bit, good things are going to come. And that's exactly what happened for Duke. Because Syracuse right now, they decided to sit a little. That hasn't paid off. All of a sudden they're on the ball more. I just want them to be more aggressive and chase the game. Remove tactics, just be aggressive.
Smith gives it up. Ajago walks it in. 2-1. Just like he did in North Carolina, capitalizing on a mistake, pressuring the keeper. And the Orange find themselves down after starting the game so beautifully. Ajago's 9th of the season, tied for #1 in the nation now.
You want to be aggressive, not complacent here, and that's exactly what Jason Smith does. How do you not see that man, Forster Ajago, up top for Duke, now tied for the country lead in goals in 9, coming off your peripherals. That's the only one you have to worry about. You don't need the secondary touch. Let this thing fly and live the rest of this match. Instead, the keen awareness of the Ghanaian on the back shoulder, the touch, the recovery, and the class to put the Blue Devils out in front.
And the Bear, his patented celebration right there. He's done it now 9 times on the campaign. Coach Kerr loves this young man. Again, transferred, went to Delaware, then to Dayton. Says he has this infectious energy about him. He's always smiling. He's always up. He's got great energy. This morning at activation, he was walking around singing it in his native tongue. As you mentioned, he is Ghanaian. I said, what are you doing, Forster? I'm getting ready. We're going to battle.
We're going to war.
We're going to
battle. We're going to war.
So he was locked in and doing his thing, pressuring the keeper, Johnny on the spot, and now Duke up 2-1 after starting a game down a goal 4 minutes in. Syracuse did make a sub as D'Agostino, clever back heel, but well defended by Ramirez. Daniel Diaz-Bonilla is on the field now. He made his entry into the game at the break. He replaced Nate Edwards. There's Susky on it again. Well, D'Agostini, the Brazilian, skipping past the defense. Gets out of some trouble. Kacheski's touch, not the best, but he rides the challenge. And Shavdarov awards a foul there.
Worth mentioning, by the way, if we're going to talk about some of the slip-ups on one side for Syracuse, coming in 6 points, given away from a leading position. That's 3 games where they were out in front. That's 2 draws and a loss they got out of it. Duke is on the exact opposite side of that conversation currently. And Obviously, we got a long way to go in this one. 3 games, though. They went down to Jacksonville University, scored 3 straight goals to win that match. They went down to Wofford, able to get a draw out of it.
College of Charleston this week.
Charleston as well. So, you know, it's just
Jago on the half turn.
Character. That's what this is about. Half chances, turning to full. Finding a way that there's just something about this team that regardless of how the game presents itself early on, they're chasing. They're willing to get back into it and fight for each other. And like that man says right there, they're going to war. Battle won. War's not over, though.
Yeah, you're right. The battle is won, but they got a long way to go. It's been an outstanding and entertaining game to start. Susky able to bring it down nicely. Good turn. He skips forward. He's got Baselli, and Daly got just enough of it to stop the attack. Krzyzewski, though, well done. Flag stays down. Kalukian dinks it to Baselli. Team's leading scorer on it. Josh Balluz. Not the best distribution. Kalukian trying to dink it over to Krzyzewski. Oh, heavy tackle on Cito. And he is down in a heap. And they can play on, and they will. They go right around him. Oh, bodies flying now. They took out Baselli. Diaz Bonilla on the ball, the transfer from Princeton. What can he create? Drives it into the hands of Eyestone. And Acito is still down. I think you got to blow this dead. And yes, finally it will be. Reigning ACC Freshman of the Year. Oh!
Again, as a referee, you got to be really careful because you want to call it open, that's one thing, but now you're playing with safety. And that is,
I mean,
someone will end up with a broken ankle in that situation.
Over the ball, without getting the ball, that could be a red, straight red, no?
That's not just your ACC Freshman of the Year. It's not just an impactful piece on this team. He worked his way into national team conversation with the US U19s, one of just 2 collegiate players in the nation to be called up to that squad in January. The other, Sam Williams, midfielder from UNC. I love that Duke-UNC rivalry, by the way. Right? I'm with who in camp?
And Acito moving around gingerly, but he is up. Tackle from behind. Susky kind of did almost a kip up. It's getting frantic out here. And chippy as Periano and Oyagunle are yelling at each other. There's Periano, the senior now. He also reclassified, entered Duke as a young 17-year-old. He has experience on the U.S. youth national teams as well. And you got another Duke sub coming in the game. Drew Kerr, the other son of John Kerr, the sophomore, now enters the fray. He's got to come in ready to go. This game is intense right now. There's Ramirez making his presence felt, the senior. Flicked on to Eyestone. As you mentioned, I mean, there's been no cards given. Shavdarov has let this game go quite a bit. We always say you want consistency in officiating.
Yep.
But in the second 45, does he need to, would you be a proponent of tightening this up?
Yeah, he has to, because here's what will end up happening. If the referee doesn't interject, the players are going to start policing themselves, and that's when the game really starts to go awry, and that's when injuries start to happen unnecessarily.
Kalukian goes down through some contact.
I'm all for sending a message, but you want that written in sand that's coming over with water. You don't want it in stone that's going to last for games to come.
Yeah. Look at you, you poet. Like Yates. Salas kind of striding forward. Nobody making him stop. Under 4 minutes here in the first half. Bjornsson, one of his first touches. Ramirez out to Daly. One of the few times he's forward, he provides great service! 3-1! Oh, Bjornsson, what a ball, what a run, what a finish for the freshman. His third goal of the season, the third of the first half. The Blue Devils, the comeback kids yet again.
This is Blue Devil football, though. End to end, side to side. We've become accustomed to this in the first half. Periano out of the pocket. As he comes wide, they don't start to sit. Instead, the front line jumps forward. Now Syracuse is tracking the runners, but they're not marked up 1v1. Instead, you've got a back post runner that hasn't stepped up into the space right there. That's a misread by the center back, Gavin Wig, but an incredible explosion into space by Orfel Bjornsson. Third on the year, most certainly. All three of his goals, 9 games in, have come from the golden helmet that have put Duke out in front by 2.
3 straight goals for Duke after going down 1-0 in the 4th minute. What a response from this team. And Bjornsson now scores in his 2nd ACC game. Lit the lamp against UVA. And the non-conference game against Princeton, and now another big one.
The numbers impressive, and I'm talking about the amount of options that you have there. I mentioned how it was a misread by Gavin Wig from Syracuse.
Blues takes out Periano, just a foul.
From behind, in transition. But the reason that he even has the opportunity, if you're Bjornsson, to make Gavin Wig make a decision, is because of the advancement of players. Again, Periano comes out. Everybody on the attacking front says, all right, let's go, full steam ahead. You jump on a back line, you go 1v1, you start rotation. You keep players guessing. That is a nightmare for defenders.
Julius Rausch checked in the game. Number 9, striker up top. Also Ezra Widman, the only freshman on the Syracuse roster. And that is him trying to leg it out on the ball. Finds Diaz Bonilla, former all-league player in the Ivy League at Princeton. Widman, the New York City product. Also came out of the New England Revolution Academy. Oh, nice 1-2. Could be an opportunity. Driven in low, and Widman, I'm not sure he knew what he wanted to do with that. Goes out for a corner. 5th of the match.
He's young Ezra Widman. Again, there's something to be said for being the only freshman on the team, number 1, number 2, making appearances in front of a lot of upperclassmen as well.
Not going to beat the first defender, but Diaz Bonilla holds it in. Dinked over the top. Laid off. Shot, driven. Susky. Good cut. Good block, though. And Periano's on it. Pass just a little short. Now Periano's got it again. Bjornsson up to Periano. He's got some runners in the box. Cameron Fisher, 14 in white, checked in as well. UNC transfer right in the middle of the 18. He's getting back to full health, but he had injury issues throughout his career at Carolina, though. The one year he's kind of fully healthy was 2021. He's 3rd on their team in points. Very good season. 50 seconds to go, under that in the first half now. Drew Kerr battling. Out for a throw.
Giorgio, organize Felipe.
Out for a corner in 20 seconds. They want to get this in now. It's a chance potentially to keep pouring it on. 15 seconds. Central defenders are coming forward. Gonzalez to put it in that sweet left foot. Clipped in. Smith gets a punch to it, and that'll be enough. Devin, what a first half. 4 goals, but 3 unanswered for Duke. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Dallin Cuff. 3-1. The Blue Devils are up right now on Syracuse. 3 unanswered goals over the last 21 minutes of action. And we're underway. Dimitar Shavdarov, the official in the middle, blows a whistle. And we'll see if Syracuse can battle back and get themselves a point or more. Nate Edwards on the ball. Lorenzo Baselli trying to turn. So Devin, as you look at this in Syracuse early on, as Edwards is on the ball trying to get across, what has to happen in this match for Syracuse to get the foothold and obviously get some goals?
Given the way that we saw the first half close, they got to come out and throw a punch and just real simple and say, yeah, I get it. You've scored 3 straight and we're down by 2, but we're not leaving this match and we're not leaving it without an effort, and they lacked effort at the tail end of the first half. So just come and make your presence known. That's the most important thing. I would say that tactically they got to be on the ball more. They chased way too much at the tail end of that first half, and they're the type of team that doesn't mind playing transitional football, but not like that. You can't sit back and deal with wave after wave of attack and then try and start that offense 80, 85 yards from net.
And Masalis kind of skips forward to Kenan Hott. Back to Antino Lopez. Gabriel Makina will retrieve. And a substitute made. There he is. Booster Holbert, the grad student, 3rd-round draft pick of the Vancouver Whitecaps in MLS last year. Chose to stay and come back here. Had double hip surgery in the offseason. Still working himself back to full fitness. He told me he feels completely like a new man in the summer, but there's also the wear and tear of this soccer season that comes at you hard and fast. So he checks in for Gavin Wigg. We'll see what one of the co-captains from Sweden can help bring on this back line. Ball almost falls in. There's no call. There's Baselli. Good tackle by Lopez. So Booster coming back in, obviously it's a straight up switch in center back, but
he's better possessionally though. He's a guy who, the ball at his feet, he can help control some of that tempo that I talked about. When you're pinned that deep, a lot of times there's more pressure on you as a defense and you have to play out, meaning you're trying to find a way combination-wise to get players 5-10 yards from you, not just hit that 40 or 50-yard ball. Booster allows you to do that, and that's not a knock on Gavin Wigg. He's just a bit more athletic. He can open things up, but Booster can help control everything on that back line.
Jago slipping, going 1v3, and there is Booster doing his thing. Gunlay just pounds it deep. Oh, Lopez almost slipped, and Kalukian might be in still. Kalukian rides the challenge. No call, waved off. This has been a very physical game, and the official Dimitar Shavdarov has allowed quite a bit of physical activity in this game.
It's probably putting it politely.
I was trying to be nice, thank you. Dudes are hacking people out here.
How's that shout, by the way? That voice that you just heard, the too quiet, that was the true freshman, Julian Eystone, we talked about in the first half. And if you're just joining us, it was that they lost so much in the departure of Elliot Hamill and his leadership. Great vocal ability right there.
Periano, great run. Jago was arriving, but Gunlay was there first. Slide ruled ball. Trying to find the feet of Jago. Jorgensen was. Bull, number 8. Kalukian draws the foul. Will it hold up play? 12th of the match for Duke. Popped forward. Well read, though, by Wayne Frederick. And generates another corner. Coming into the match, 6 of 14 goals the Orange have scored were off set pieces. Well, it went to 7 of 15 as Kalukian scored off the first corner of the match. This is now their 6th. Chance for Syracuse to get back in it here.
33.
Kucheski to take. Good service. Belouz at 6'6", couldn't climb high enough. And a foul on Singleman. Players exchanging some words.
This is coming from a former D1 athlete and professional soccer player, I always found it funny when soccer players.
You read your own resume.
Just listen though, but I always loved it when a soccer player stood up and puffed their chest out. And it's like, relax. We're not on the offensive line. We're not in the boxing ring. We know what we are, okay, and we know what we are not.
I will tell you what. I don't know if anything worse than basketball players. Saying as a former basketball player, as soon as these dudes start going chest to chest, nobody wants any of that noise.
No, I will say that it's still not as bad as football players throwing absolute haymakers with helmets on. That's my favorite.
Never understand that. But those dudes are a different breed. Chesky heads it to the path of Edwards. But Jorgensen now playing more in that midfield spot, so he's battling more defensively. Started up top. The freshman from Norway. Jason Smith made an error with the ball at his feet in the first half, gifting Forster Ajago a goal. There's your distribution potentially. Schobert looking low.
Even if you don't hit it, though, you've reset the lines and you move yourself up. And that was one of the bigger issues that we spoke about, that in the first half they were just so deep in nature.
Jago riding on that challenge from Makina, and the flag goes up. We talked about Syracuse, how to get back in it from Duke's standpoint. It's just a matter of not making mistakes and being clean. Or do you go for more?
For the most part, well, that's the real question here, is how much are you willing to chase here? Because, look, you got 38 minutes left on the clock. You get a goal, it's an absolute dagger, right? But that's that 2 goal. I mean, you give one and all of a sudden it's the hope that gets them right back into the game. It is the hope that kills you, but in this situation, that's not the case.
Periano goes down hard, and Ajago might take a shot for a throw here.
I'd rather see them just toy with it a little bit. Keep the ball, possess. You're going to make Syracuse come out. You're going to make them positionally chase the game if you just keep going side to side, because you can frustrate them. They want the ball. It's 2 goals. They've got to find a way to get back into it. The only way they do that is with more possession.
Yeah, Agostini gets it on the run out to Singleman. Really good work from Bjornsson before to keep that ball in and then almost get him off the cross. Singleman cuts it back to Baselli. Didn't take a shot. Leaves it off. Krzyzewski wide. Wow. There's something to be said for being selfless and too selfless.
I said to you coming in that the 2 you had to really keep an eye on was Krzyzewski in the midfield and Lorenzo Baselli. Well, Baselli starts to peel off of this, but the first ball comes from him, from Krzyzewski. Has the ball off the chest from Kaluki, and he just let that go. I mean, I get it. It's not on your favorite foot, but on the right, not there, on the left. Head down. The laces were out, and swing through.
Tell him, Marino. Tell him, Einhorn, Finkel. More than Kalukin set a screen too, by the way. It was like a basketball, like a high screen. He screened the defender out, and he had room. Oof, good tackle by Belouz. Could have been a chance to change this game. Pinged out to Daly. Has one of the assists on the day. He's got that dangerous right foot. Ajago offside. Good finish, but flag was up immediately. There will be no Bear celebration there.
One of the main things you have to pay attention to with Forster Ajago up top is what Coach John Kerr from Duke has his eye on. It's timing. And it's getting the defenders to bite on your movement, but also understanding exactly when that movement has to come. And that's a real good look at it. just got to be quicker. You know, you sit and then explode instead of just slowly drifting in. He did everything right except that last 2 or 3 steps. It doesn't need to be 2 or 3. It's just the one to get into the space, and then you go win the ball.
Looking past almost short back, and that one will be short. An opportunity. Drew Kurt. Don't give it a ride. Smith saves it. Ornson clips it back in. Drives it back in, I should say. Chesky trying to get out of trouble, maintains possession. You're gesticulating. What's going on over here?
That move you just saw with Amir Daly at outside right center back for Duke Blue Devils. There's not a quick enough recognition by them. Look how high he comes. There's not a good enough viewpoint of when he comes, we got to find a way to play into it. So many a time, if you watch by Syracuse, they get him to come out and mark, but then they don't step in from behind. I said that was one of the bigger matchups we were going to look at tonight tactically. Syracuse had their chances. Amir Daly says, okay, well, here's what happens. You're not going to play behind me? Well, guess what? I'm going to step in, help out the midfield defensively. I'm going to help push the numbers going forward. As the game has gone on, he's done such a really, an incredible job of just taking what's in front of him in the game. He doesn't force it. That's the most important thing, and that's a tendency that he's starting to get away from. And the most important thing for the senior at Duke, it's all ACC second team last season on a back line that didn't give up a lot of goals, but now he's trying to become the two-way player. Knowing when to go and stay is the biggest learning curve he's trying to get through right now.
A little 1-2. Baselli crosses up Frederick. Trying to play in Kalukian. He does. Can he make it 2? He can't. And deflect out for a corner, though. They are dangerous.
I was with him. I thought there was a little touch here. Good cut back across. Again, the midfield can be so dynamic for Syracuse when it wants to be. Same space, though. Notice, again, Amir Daly's not the culprit in that situation. He had a mark on the outside, but the space is still available for Syracuse, even when you break off and go route one right down the middle.
Flicked on! We're at 3-2! Come on! Nobody's really claiming it. Maybe Gabriel Makina, the defender. We'll take another look. It may have taken a deflection on the way in.
I saw Josh Ballou's in the mix as well, the 6'6" holding midfielder for Syracuse. He makes the run, headed right towards the top of the 6. Just a dangerous ball whipped in. Baselli for sure on the first, Makina on the second. Absolutely, and everybody's looking around for an offside. Look at the player in goal, though. Recognize the last defender is in the net, so the goalkeeper, you have to be in behind. He's basically the last stop. That's all you want in that situation. You got that many bodies. You get the first touch. You want a player on the back post running through for the second. Syracuse back in it.
Game on, 3-2. The Fay National Champs will not go quietly into that good night. Makina, his 3rd goal of the campaign. First one in an ACC game. Albany and Binghamton were the 2 prior. Hard tackle in there.
For Syracuse, number 31,
And Ezra Weidman, the freshman, enters the fray, as did Michael Susky back in. Again, Weidman, the only freshman on this roster. Clipped in, and a lack of communication. They're giving up another corner. Set it, coming into the game, 6 of 14 goals scored off set pieces. Both games today. both goals today, excuse me, off the corner from Syracuse. They get more than anybody in the country. 7.88 a game. They're now at 8. They've scored on 2. Can they make it 3? Kacheski on it. Widman is short. Floated ball. Now could be off to the races. I think Susky's going to win that battle, though. Oyagunle on it. Out to Kacheski, and he tried to first-time pass it, and it doesn't really come together. Looking for Singleman. But they will maintain possession. Does that get in your head as a defensive unit when you're giving up corners, goals off corners?
Well, it gets in your head, but kind of like what we saw at Wake Forest last week. What was it? Was 7 of 9?
7 of their 8 goals allowed.
7 8 goals allowed for set pieces. You can only do so much to make it better. Eventually, you just have to play better. It's that simple.
Selly out to Singleman. He tries to drive it in low. Drives it in again. Deflects and out for a goal kick. Whew. Don't go anywhere, folks. We got 30 minutes to go. This is going to be an entertaining finish. Tomorrow, special time, 2 Eastern. The ACC Huddle crew will kick off the afternoon at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg with a 90-minute pregame show into Bowling Green and Georgia Tech at 3:30. Then they're back at 6:30 to wrap up afternoon with highlights and analysis and get you set for Pitt, Virginia Tech at 8. After the game, stay right here on ACCN for a complete wrap-up, interviews with players and coaches, and of course a ton of insight analysis from the game that's taking place here. Notre Dame taking on Duke, undefeated Duke, top 20 matchup in the country. They'll have you covered on ACC Network with the Huddle crew.
We just took a little ringer here. Kacheski, the referee was pointing to his head to come out and take a look at him. Oh, okay. Wayne Frederick, it looked like, with the extended elbow there. No malintent, just trying to win the ball, but certainly a little how do you do. And of course, in this day and age, with everything that we have on head injuries and the studies being done, you are walking a very fine line as to what you want to do, bringing a player on and off. Put him down, check him out, make sure he's okay, put him through the motions, and make sure that everything is still on track. There's no reason to risk it. That's exactly what Syracuse is going to do in this situation. Have Giorgio Kacheski come have a chat with the trainer. We'll switch with Daniel Diaz-Bonilla, the transfer from Princeton. Again, the whole slew of guys who are first-year players for this Syracuse team that, although they are national champions, 8 of the starting 11 tonight were at a different school, either last season or the year prior.
On that note, Daniel Diaz-Bonilla checks in for Kacheski, transfer from Princeton, former second-team All-League player a couple years back. The Blues trying to get the ball under control. Just pinging around. Aquina can't really handle it. Battling with Jago. Aquina goes down in a heap, no call. He's yet to get up. And because it is a head injury, they should stop it. And Frederick got clipped by Baselli there. And Shavdarov trying to walk over and assess this, but he's got to get control of this matchup. Somebody's got to see a card. Right now, you can literally go cleats up, I feel like, on somebody.
Watch,
not get a card.
Well, watch the hand, too, from Forshaw Jago. That's a foul there. Hand away from the body, reaches out, catches him right in the face. So does the backside of the elbow. That was actually the second point of contact. And again, you can't be upset at the striker. He's just trying to get in front of you. He's not going, oh, I'm going to swing my arm and knock him in the face here.
But it's a foul.
It happens. It's still a foul, absolutely. I'm surprised with 29 minutes to go in the second half that we haven't seen more players trying to go and send a message in this situation.
You may.
I'm not promoting that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that I've been on that field many a time where such has been the case. And now we're going to issue a yellow for the extracurriculars on the second tackle. That makes sense. All right.
So we'll do the housekeeping here. We'll also let you know Clemson is up 1-0 on the road at Virginia Tech. Nathan Richmond scored in the 31st minute. That score remains the same. Virginia taking on Louisville right now. They are up 2-0 as well. Daniel Mangarov got the second one. And they are in control there at home against Louisville. And UNC and Pitt remain tied up at 0s right now. all games in the second half. Ball played down the right flank. Skip past the defender. Opportunity driven in, save Smith. Frederick keeps it in though. And that card was issued to Ezra Weidman. Kalukian, 1v2. And just got a foot in. Tino Lopez, well done. Yes, Bonilla earns yet an. It's a throw, goes out before the corner flag. That helps. Krzyzewski, after the knock he took, he checks back in.
Go, Nick, thank you.
The lose. The 1-2 at Krzyzewski. Outside of the boot, pass will reach Susky. He rides the challenge nicely. Weidman, excuse me. Good ball, good idea. Does find Krzyzewski. Oh, you Gunley, the center back up way high up the pitch. And hard challenge there. 14th foul of the match. They average 12 a game. Already got 14. Duke does. Krzyzewski over the ball now. See those center backs striding forward. And Hobert, 19, who checked in at halftime.
Josh Blues in the back post doesn't have a mark right now. He's just floating. Better believe they are not going to go zone in this situation. You got to find a way to put a body on a guy that's 6'6".
Step left, you two.
Now he's got a shadow.
Played short. Weidman, the freshman.
Taxi.
3 points.
Tell the boys over at game day to send it back, please. No free rides here, Down.
None.
If we're not coming on the set and we're not getting a segment, we're not getting an interview, you, my friends, are not getting a souvenir ball.
I'm sure everybody would tune in for your guest picker spot. I'm sure you'd be amazing. The lose, big header. Not a ton of subs. This is where we mentioned Weidman getting more minutes now than he has in any ACC game. No Jonah Leibold, injured, outstanding left winger. Mateo Levesque, central midfielder, out for the Orange. So Ian McIntyre going a little deeper in his bench on the road against such a good opponent. Looking for Kalukian. Good ball by Booster. Oh, Kalukian tried to do some things. Didn't come off though. Jago can't hold it up, but it finds the feet of Bjornsson. Crowd's getting a little restless here. It's been a lot of Syracuse control in the second half.
A lot of giveaways too, right on cue. I don't think we want to have Groundhog Day creep back in from the first half blunder that was Jason Smith.
Smith,
he sure doesn't.
Yeah, Smith gave it away to Forrester Jago, who walked it in the goal. This might find the feet, and it does. Of Jorgensen. He's riding challenges. He goes down a heap.
Handball.
And they call the foul. But they call, I think you're exactly right, they'll call a handball.
This is one of those things, though. You're being knocked to ground. I don't think it's a foul, to be clear. But you're going to ground. Watch his hand when he reaches out. This right here is an intentional handball. By the book, that is a yellow card, my friends. Now, I haven't written the book. I've been in it a couple of times, but I can promise you this. If IPAB were watching, they would let the referee know that that is most assuredly a caution.
Dimitar Shabdarov, the center official today. Daily, the New York Red Bull Academy product. Camarosito is not on the same page as McKenna steps forward. Good pass. He's got options in the middle. Selly making the run. Kalukian still on it, but it's not quick enough.
Good recovery though by Camarosito. Back post.
Hot looking for Bjornsson and a lot of contact. Bodies down everywhere. And the spot is pointed too. And we'll take a look at which foul was actually on. And Bjornsson is down in a heap, the freshman from Iceland. And Shavdarov is going to confirm. Again, we had a similar situation in the first half. Experimental rules within the ACC, one of 5 conferences doing this year within league games. The penalty is given, it can go and be reviewed to confirm that it should have been given.
I got penalty, I'm going to check.
We'll look at it.
And Bjornsson is still down.
Well, the real question here, Dallin, is going to be, is he issuing the penalty for the second challenge? Because that seemed to be where his mind was headed. If it's the first, I question as to whether or not it was actually in the box. Good transitional move. So defensively, there's the recovery by Camarosito. And then all of a sudden, this is something you don't see all the time. It's Ken and Hot coming real high. Frederick was out of position. Hot ushers it forward. See, to me, the foul's right here.
That's outside the box.
Outside the box. As you continue forth, no, and absolutely not there. This is a foul outside the box, not a penalty. The question is still, though, is he actually issuing a penalty for the first challenge or the second? That's the most important thing, because if it's on the second, that's certainly not a penalty. And if he's already issued on the first, it's not a penalty either. You need to know from the referee which one it is. I can tell you what it's not. It's not a penalty.
I'm not good at math, but I did follow your linguistics there. We'll see, because only one man's opinion really matters here. It's Dimitar Shavdarov.
Recognize this, though. If it is on the second and it's not a pen, that's not an indirect free kick. That's a goal kick.
Goal kick. The match could hinge on this decision. This is where, and bear in mind, in the last game that Syracuse played against Pitt, a red card was issued, but it was 2 yellows for a red for Michael Sullivan, and they went to review it, and Ian McIntyre was yelling, "You cannot review this, you cannot review this," and the referee realized it and went back on the pitch and did not review it because you couldn't. It's not a straight red, it's 2 yellows. That is different. Here, to your point, which challenge was the penalty? If he's saying he's called both a foul, you had 1 foul, but he thought it was a penalty, and he allowed a play-on situation.
Correct.
And they're both fouls that he was assessing. Theoretically, I guess you can assess both, but the true question here is, will a penalty be awarded? And that has to be the outcome. So what we are being told is they're going to say it was a foul on Bjornsson outside the box, but he's bringing both coaches in. We'll try to be quiet and see if we can pick it up.
The call on the field was penalty. The foul is outside, so it's not a penalty. We're given a foul outside. There's no doxo. It's just serious stopping cross and attack. So it's a yellow card for number 22 for the push in the back. It's outside of the box.
Outside the box.
All right, free kick.
Okay, we could hear that. If you couldn't hear it at home, there will be a yellow for Oyagunle issued for the challenge outside the box on Bjornsson.
That's right. That's the right decision. It's a counterattacking opportunity. It's an offensive advancement. It's in from behind. It's outside the box. This is great refereeing. This is exactly what you wanted to see for the entirety of the game tonight. Maybe it's slipped in certain spots, but that moment right there could have gone way south real quick if you're a Syracuse fan.
Well, that potentially was the game. So yes, that was a huge moment, and Shavdarov made the accurate call and assessment. And this is why the rule's in there now, folks.
Yep.
because we have the technology to do it, and you have high-level players, high-level competition. Careers and jobs are on the line here. You got to get these things right. That was a good assessment.
Something to think about, by the way. I've had stoppages like this. Guys are looking around, they're waiting. All of a sudden, when you have to go back into it, your mind can get tunnel vision and just focus on what's right in front of you. When I was a player, a lot of times, this is when we pulled out the trickery. This is when we said, touch, stop, hit, let's get it around the wall. Let's run a second or third runner off the ball and chase them instead of going direct. Now, from this distance, you cannot blame Nick Periano if he wants to have a strike. If it was Ruben Mazales, I mean, there's a ton of ball strikers on the field for Duke, so I don't blame him if they go direct. But this is a real good opportunity if they want to test the mental resolve of Syracuse to have a little fun.
Well,
post, ton of space, by the way.
Periano's already on the score sheet with the opening goal from penalty spot. He goes again, low, and it's in! A counter deflection, and Periano scores again and doubles the advantage.
Let's go positive here. And the brilliance that is the mastermind of Nick Periano. I said sometimes you want to use the trickery here. That's exactly what he does. He doesn't get support on it. But I said the last thing, look at all the space on the near post. This is right for the picking if you're Nick Periano. He goes low, deflection or not, this thing is going in. Counter argument. Jason Smith is out of position. He's got to be better in that spot. Trust your wall, absolutely, but you're cheating way too much to the backside to allow the masterclassman that is Nick Periano and the brilliant senior season that he's having. Second of the night, fourth on the year, back out in front by 2.
Great and inventive play to shoot it underneath the wall. And we talk about Josh Blues being 6'6". If he was 6'7" and his toes were a little longer, he may have got enough on the ball.
Don't jump.
But it didn't matter. Well, yeah, see? Smart play, good strike, and the senior steps up for his squad. Union Academy product, reclassified, enrolled at Duke early at 17 years old. Had an outstanding career here, second team all-conference last year, well on his way to being first team all-league this year. Now with 4 goals to go along with his 4 assists. See if Syracuse can respond. They were on the front foot for most of the half, and that was a bad miss kick, and Singleman probably could have come down with it, but just kind of popped it forward. Eyestone happy to get rid of it.
And they can't win a second to save their lives.
Mazales on the run, lays it off to Asiago. Flag stays down. And eventually cleared out for a corner. Woo.
Syracuse tonight, they cannot win the initial 50-50 challenge, a second, a third. Booster Hobart comes high, good step in there by Offer Bjornsson, just recognizes the space, and all you're trying to do is just continue the advancement going forward. Thought he was in an offside position? Absolutely not. That's the timing we're talking about by Forster Ajago. They don't get the finished product, but that is a beautiful move by the home team.
Third corner of the match for the Blue Devils. Whipped in, and a whistle prior to the ball being played in. And Shavdrov's trying to clean something up on the interior there. So they'll get a chance to serve it in again. And McIntyre ran all the way down to inside the 18. And that is poor corner. Daly. Susky on it. Gets it up to Krzyzewski. Good ball. He's laid out. But Singleman trying to run onto it. He can't. Well done by Baselli. The Italian to the German.
Entering Syracuse 11, Yossi, and number 15, Daniel Diaz-Bonilla.
Got a couple subs. Diaz Bonilla coming back in for Kalukian. Thrown in nicely to Diaz Bonilla. Goes out for a throw. Thought it was a goal kick. Quick update from around the conference. Virginia Tech equalized. Misei Yoshizawa scores for Virginia Tech in the 70th minute. It's 1-1 in the 78th now. And a big game for Clemson, trying to continue to build some momentum here. Krzyzewski wins the race to Susky. Got around Bull, now he just pulled down Daly. I mean, and yeah, Shavdarov, I believe, is reaching for a card. If he's not, maybe I should stop. I feel like a broken record right now.
Kids still listen to those, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even an iPod right now seems 50 years old. As the card is brandished towards Susky. Third card of the match now.
Number 99.
It's the definition of card 99.
Good one. For those behind the curtain, card 99. In the last segment, I regretfully said something that I shouldn't have said. Susky actually subbed out of the match on that last break there.
Kid me with Virginia Tech, by the way, if they can even get a draw out of that game.
Big.
This is Mike Brizendine, Virginia Tech. Slow start that was, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Davidson, UNC beat Louisville. I mean, they've been right there in a ton of games, taking down the very good High Point team.
Turning around, they were 0-2-3 at one point. And now here comes Nate Edwards. He will come on for Susky now. So at this point, under 20 minutes to go, are you just kind of shut it down if you're Duke? Or are you trying to knock it about, just take the air out of the thing?
I wanted them to shut it down earlier, but they've pushed it a little bit. Not the same tempo we saw in the first half. Again, you're up by 2. There's 20 minutes to go. You don't want to invite too much pressure here, is the thing. And for young men at this age, they're still learning how to manage a game.
Yeah.
Right. So we can talk about talent and the integration into the collegiate style, but just overall game management as a player, it's not something they're fully accustomed to. It's certainly not an entire unit.
Forrester.
This is it, though.
Shago on the ball. Now back to Periano.
You have it. They don't. Clock ticks off side to side. If an opportunity is there, step in. Otherwise, just keep it.
Daly, 1 assist on the day, looking for 2. He's got great service into the box. D'Agostini, the Brazilian, tries to bring it down, and Frederick wins that battle. Kina scored the second goal, the defender, to make this thing interesting.
Referee. What are we doing?
Diaz Bonilla and Cito in a battle. Just both guys fistful of jersey. Eventually, Syracuse wins out. Widman. Cito then rides Diaz Bonilla off the field.
This is one of the issues, though, is even when they've gotten numbers up high, they're flat. So you come, the movements come into the near touchline. You don't have a ball back. You don't have a ball in behind. It's one-on-one with support coming defensively for Duke. That's the best thing. If you get broken down in your Duke, give them credit, because the recovery on the defensive front has been incredible. 2-3 guys shifting over to help shut down a passing lane.
Bjornsson took a little knock there. He's slow to get up. Coming back in your screen, 9 and white. Great tackle. Oh, Oyegunle's on a yellow.
That's
he is on a yellow. And we'll see if he sees the door. Rash challenge, to say the least. Here it comes. Yep, there it is. There's the second yellow. There's the red. junior from Brampton, Ontario, will make that long walk to an early shower. And you said in the first half, the odds we finished with 11 v 11 were small, and you were right, sir.
You got to feel for Oyuola Gunley, because obviously he's made a mistake, but this is the first one that ended up in a penalty call and then got pulled back upon a review decision. Certainly ended up in the back of the net anyway by Nick Periano. And then this one, you're a defender, you're trying to make a play on the ball. You're going to do anything you can to try and keep your team in it. He's just a bit slower to a young man, a freshman, although 20 years of age, in Bull Jorgensen, who explodes into it, makes a play, and unfortunately, his night's going to be done.
Well, Pablo Pedregosa, the grad transfer from NC State, is getting ready to check in. Played 4 years there, knows a lot about ACC games. So we'll see how this changes the shape of this Syracuse team potentially. Down 2 men, down 2 goals, down a man. That is a big hole to climb out of Periano. Plays it quick. Jago couldn't bring it under his spell. Good ball out by Makina. D'Agostini. Well done by Sita.
If there was more time here, I actually don't want them to make a sub. I don't want them to bring a center back on, because you've got Josh Balluz, the transfer from Villanova, 33 for Syracuse. He can drop onto the back line and help out, but still help you have enough numbers in the middle. And Nate Edwards can help you defensively as an outside back. There's no reason to make a defensive substitution just yet, because you're down by 2. Might as well continue to chase the game.
We'll see. Pedregosa did play at times for George Kiefer in a wing-back spot, that outside back. He did have quite a few full-race forwards, so maybe this will be a little different. Singleman's pass did not connect. 2 cards for Ola Gunley, 7 minutes of play. And Balluz takes a little offense to Ajago's shot afterwards when he was down. And Ajago's going to go in the book now. And cooler heads need to prevail if you're Duke. You're up 2 and you're up a man. You do not need this.
It's the kick at the end of it. And it's certainly a foul. Josh Balluz knows it. Good positioning as he goes down, but watch right there, and a second one. No need, but to your point, just slow things down, and the immediate shot from the sideline if he didn't pick it up. Sean Kerr and co. We're going to sub the yellow for Jago. I would imagine that his night, unless absolutely necessary, is probably done. Goal in the 36th minute. 9 goals, 9 games. Tied for best in the country right now.
And Duke made a substitution as well. Femi Ibrahim, opportunity for Edwards! Oh, we're still alive! What a ball played in! What a crisp finish! And here we go! The senior from Brampton, Ontario. His countryman just got shown the door. He stands up.
What do we say? Don't make a defensive substitution, because Edwards can fulfill both sides of the ball. Brilliant. Whip back in on the penalty mark. Watch him take the sting off this ball, Kucheski. You put this thing on a deck, there's no spin. It's skipping right in front of Nate Edwards. Heck of a time to grab his first of the season.
Wow. Beautiful pass, great finish. And the Orange have life here. Down a goal, down a man.
Number 10, Lorenzo Vaselli, and number 32, Nicholas Colokia.
See if Duke wants more right now.
For the Blues,
Balluz battling with Ibrahim there. Ibrahim cuts it to Periano. Flag is up. Balluz is still down in the midfield right now.
Take the space, take the numbers. The best thing you can get right now if you're Syracuse is all that wide open real estate. The problem was Josh Balluz was out of position after the contact that he acquired in the midfield.
Petrogosa just let it walk out of play. All right, folks, 14 minutes to go here from Koskinen Stadium, Duke University. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Dallin Cuff, 7-goal thriller here. Every time it seems like it's over, Syracuse has found themselves a way to get back off the deck, but they are down a man now. Their senior center back, Olu Gunley, was given his walking orders in the 74th minute, but Nate Edwards just scored in the 75th minute, and they've got a shot to equalize or more, or can Duke put them away? Krzyzewski, he may be going in the book now. As we've said, Devin, all game, this has been a physical game. We've seen it everywhere across the pitch. Cards are starting to be brandished now. Syracuse, obviously getting that goal was huge. What do you need to see from them tactically here in the last 13 to try to get another one?
Why is it coming into the second half you had to throw a punch? They waited 30 minutes to do it. And that's the problem here. And down to 10 men, basically, right? Because they got the one goal, but it's primarily been one-way traffic for Duke. It's game management in the sense of making sure that you don't actually think you're down by a man. You have to remove that from your thought process. You have to feel like you're still in this game, that you can do whatever you want. That goal certainly helps your cause, right? And immediately after the red card, Duke, they do need how to learn to manage a game. They got to figure out a way to just settle things down, go side to side. The biggest question mark right now is probably going to be the emotional side of it, because there's so much going on. Tackles are flying. Syracuse is back within one. You need to harness that capability, and remember, clock is your best friend.
Deflects off Petrogosa for a corner. Good job by Bull. Freshman from Norway, getting their 4th corner of the match. Periano jogs over there. And Shavdarov stops the clock. Just to avoid time wasting, making him play. Blues in a 6'6" frame. Got his head to it. Vaselli, nice ball to Kalukian. He's trying to roll the defender.
Oh, well done.
A transfer from Michigan, unanimous first team, unanimous all-freshman team last year at Michigan. You see why. And yellow because of the transitional nature of the foul. So Hot goes into the book.
Some kind of work ethic, though. I mean, you know the pressure's coming on the back. You've got it coming right in front of you to allow yourself to bring the ball down and then turn with both of those bodies. The good midfield pairing of Kenan Hott and Wayne Frederick closing you down. Well done by Kalukian up top for Syracuse.
Kalukian's now got a point in 4 straight games after scoring the opener in this one. On the overlap is Krzyzewski. Play him. And not the service he wanted. 1 week from today, the Orange back in action, back here in the Triangle at North Carolina in Chapel Hill to take on the 18th ranked Tar Heels. The game kicks off 7:30 p.m. right here on ACC Network. And currently, Pitt and Carolina are locked up at 0s, and that one's coming close to the full 90. Virginia is now up 3-0 on Louisville. Whew. Kalukian flips it to Edwards. He's got a chance, and he just waited too long to play Kalukian. Pitt Carolina game in the 85th minute right now. Looking back post, and Diaz Bonilla was there. Eystone spills it. Tackles flying in. Well done by Masalis. Really well done to maintain possession. And Miguel Ramirez checks in. Senior from Georgia, Atlanta United Academy product.
I'm here for both of them. Both of them.
Periano, high boot on Krzyzewski. Shavdarov is stopping the clock almost at every dead ball to not allow any time wasting. Pedro Gosa. Ball might actually deflect out to Edwards. No. Good feed by Periano, trying to look long. Ibrahim. Loose settles.
He doesn't get as much of the accolades as everybody else in the Syracuse system, but he's class. Josh Blues in the midfield, just so calm and clean on the ball.
Pedrogosa, right idea, but well read by Tino Lopez to come over there and clear it out. We're under 10 minutes here. An eventful last 10. Good step by Frederick. He's got Ibrahim, the transfer from Cal, ahead of him. He's going to keep running. And yeah, Ibrahim wandered offside.
Offside Blues.
Just a bit.
Losing a lot of space, hits Diaz Bonilla. Doesn't really have any options. 4 white jerseys around him. Does well. Bounds off his arm, no call. Kaluki in that. Doesn't connect. Pitt Carolina full time, 0-0. Pitt coming up that loss on the road at Syracuse. Oh, could be a bad giveaway. Baselli. Still Baselli. Oh, well done by Lopez to put out the fire. And Duke just keeps kicking it long to just get possession up.
Mystified as to the reasoning for just allowing the visitors to stay in. That's a mistake. Another one from Jason Smith.
Gives it to Masalis. He's driving, falling, and it's in! Oh, Jason Smith having a howler. Masalis makes him pay. The 3rd goal of the season for Masalis, 6th of his career, and that's probably gonna do it. And the Duke fans celebrate accordingly. And the pain for Smith.
So consistent last year on the defensive front for Syracuse. Russell Shealy in goal, ever steady. And unfortunately tonight, that is not the case for Syracuse. And the man from Utah Valley State, Jason Smith. 3rd time tonight, just a really bad decision. That's all you can account for. Actually thought Ruben Masalis had done a little bit too much. Wasn't going to get a chance to actually let this thing fly. Everything they tell you about this young man, the Florida native, is about his left foot. How good it can be in the moments that matter most. Tell you what, for a team looking for an ACC result, said coming into the night, you could not lose 3 in your first 4 in this division, in this conference, and expect to recover. One would have to imagine. Up to 8 to go. Syracuse down to 10. That should seal it.
Salas, the all-freshman team player in this conference back in 21, comes from a footballing family. His dad played for the Spanish national team in futsal. His father was a goalkeeper throughout La Liga back in the day. And now he puts in a critical goal. I thought the turf monster was going to get him.
I thought he was going down.
When he started going down, I was like, uh-oh. But he got it. He got that sweet left foot on it. And Jason Smith's going to not enjoy watching the film of this game. And that's what good teams do. They make you pay when you make mistakes. And hold on, Masalis. Can he make it too? He cannot. Periano, his teammate, has already done it, who actually fed him the ball. Periano, first time in his career, he's got 2 goals. Ramirez on it. It's the most goals in Syracuse allowed this season. Blues tried to play Kalukian, but right to the feet of Lopez, who's been solid all match. Cam Fisher on it, 14, UNC transfer.
You hate to see that too.
I know.
You know, it's, look, I would say that there's only one winner, but of course, sometimes when you win or lose, you really draw. We could go.
Look at you, Rosie Perez.
I'm getting in there, but
there you go.
Listen, someone's got to win eventually, in theory, right? And to in theory, walk out of here in this manner for Syracuse. Again, 7 minutes, who knows? Off 3 mistakes. This is still one of the best attacking units in the country, 2.38 goals per game. Well, we've certainly doubled that. A line change here for Syracuse at the tail end of things that we'll see. A ton of new faces, hopefully some energetic that will give some of that hope back to him with 6.5 to go.
So Drew Kerr trots on for Wayne Frederick, Coach Kerr's younger son on the team. You had a number of changes come in. Gavin Wigg re-entered the match. Felipe D'Agostini came in. Ezra Widman, all for Syracuse. A lot of different numbers here. Bodies flying yet again. And Syracuse has a midweek match before they take on UNC. They got to play Colgate and then at home, and then they got to come back down to the Triangle. So maybe some of these subs are just about, you know, managing some bodies here. Noah Singelman not happy with the call. The co-captains from Germany. Daps up Periano.
And the other thing about this Duke team, I get it, it's very early. But you're starting midfield. Wayne Frederick, sophomore. Kenan Hott, sophomore. Phil Jorgensen, the guy who's played on the outside, he's played up top to start the game, and right now he's paired next to him, freshman. They're not just good. They're good with the opportunity to be really good for years to come if they continue to grow together.
D'Agostini trying to beat Lopez to it. He does. Oh. Lopez, good one-on-one defender. And to your point then, but then you anchor things around him. Amir Daly, a senior, has done it forever, 4 years. Periano's done it for 4 years. And those guys have logged over 16, 17, almost 80 games.
It certainly doesn't hurt that you try and chase goals too, and you go get Forster Jago. I think the question for him coming into the year was going to be, well, can he do it at this level? Delaware in the 2021 spring season, he only had a goal and assist through 5 appearances. So he goes to Dayton in the fall of 21, and last year's collegiate season as well in 2022. Well, 13 goals and 4 assists in 2 seasons at 35 games. That's not too shabby.
Oh, shot off the bar! Venomous from Kalukian. He's saying it got deflected. He's going nuts.
And now you've got 9 and 9 for the man up top for Duke. And the idea for Ian McIntyre that Nicholas Kalukian, the Michigan transfer, would be the one who would provide similar numbers. Let's see a deflection there. Didn't say the ball doesn't stray from its original rotation. Coming off the foot there. Nope. Goalkeeper touch.
That was by Eystone maybe before he could see it. Well, that stays at 5-3. That would have made this thing even more insane, but ball played in, looking for Ibrahim. He can't get there. Smith corrals. Coming up for Duke next. They have a huge game on the road at Notre Dame, but they get the full week off, no midweek games, training. Again, this is their 3rd game in 6 days. Lost to Carolina, beat College Charleston in a come-from-behind win where they needed 2 goals in the final 10 minutes. And then tonight, to go down a goal, and now find yourself at 5-3. It's just wild. 4 goals unanswered to get to that point.
4th time this season, Duke will, assuming they are able to close out this win in the last 3.5 minutes. 4th time this season, Duke Blue Devils have gone down. They have 3 wins and a draw in those 4 games. This is the 4th time Syracuse has gone ahead. They have 1 loss and 3 draws in that game, assuming this ends up as a loss, right? Or excuse me, this will be the 5th time.
Yeah.
So this will be 2 losses and 3 draws. A team that, again, they kind of set the tempo. They get out and just can't finish games off. You're just hoping, if you're Ian McIntyre, that these are blips, and it doesn't become part of the DNA for a team the rest of the season, because right about now, last year 7 games in against Clemson, we're at number 9, was the real turning point for a team that saw momentum that ended up with not only a national championship, but 20 games unbeaten until their last loss against Cornell.
And they're about to have their 2nd loss in 3 games when they hadn't lost in 20. Singelman deflects around off Daly. And talk about this game being crazy. Clemson finding a way to beat Virginia Tech. Usman Silla in the 89th minute and 56 seconds.
Good man.
A buzzer beater for Silla. And Clemson takes all 3 points from Virginia Tech, who've had, some very rough draws in this season, and that's a rough loss. Dink back to Gavin Wigg. Wigg's able to get it out there wide. Duke's on their way to 17 straight games undefeated at Koskinen Stadium. The fascinating part about that, though, Devin, this will be the first time they got a win over a ranked team in that run, which is kind of shocking.
Blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away for a team that lost 2 games last year that could have easily, and I say that, and most people in the collegiate landscape would agree with me, easily won the ACC tournament, and won the national championship. Now we're talking about what Syracuse did on the other side of the field, but this is the type of talent they had last year. To not beat a ranked opponent in that time frame,
to not play one. That's like I did. Like that's it's just it's wild that the
scheduling. Well done.
Hey, their road games last year and ranked teams were brutal, and they won a lot of them, drew a lot of them. They were unbeaten in the regular season until the ACC tournament. But this has been an impressive run, kind of quirky, but they're going to get a ranked win here. Periano looking to make it 6. Lays it off to Masalis, driven in, and Ibrahim inches away from making it 6, and Jason Smith mercifully will let the clock tick down as they are victorious. Duke snaps a 2-game losing streak in ACC play in emphatic fashion over the defending national champs. All 3 points to the Blue Devils. Your thoughts, Doug?
We wanted to stay